The card base is in Misty Moonlight, and this measures 5.5 by 8.25, and for the metric one this measures 14 by 21 centimeters long. Then on the long side, on the imperial one, you score at 4 1/8, and for the metric you score at 10.5 centimeters. I won't show you how to construct the card, but I'll show you the elements. This pocket from the Pocket Thoughts dies, you need to cut one in Misty Moonlight and one in Basic White. I corner rounded with a 1/2" corner rounder punch. Stampin' Up no longer has a rounded corner punch, but you could use Countryside corner dies to chop off the corners here, or just do it by eye. Then to create the matte layer here so that this circle matches the pocket underneath in the Misty Moonlight layer, you simply cut off the tabs following the score lines already incorporated, and then you want to cut a 1/16 of an inch off all 4 sides. Stamp on it first before you glue it to the pocket. The slot for the ribbon, I use this punch, but it's retired, and this was called the Label Me Fancy. So if you don't have one of those, then you just simply use your craft knife and cut a slot there. This is the center panel, which is this panel here. So basically it measures 2.5 by 4.25, and on the long side you score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Then you fold this over like so, and it attaches to the pop-up mechanism here, and that's the mechanism that holds these 2 hideaway cards, and I'll cover that in a minute. This is the metric version, so the center panel for this card measures 12 centimeters by 6 centimeters, and on the long side you score at 1.5 and 3 centimeters. These are the fold-out panels. This measures 2 3/8 by 2.25, and do mark it on the back. There's such a little difference, there's only 1/8 of an inch difference, so you might get confused, but the wider panel, which is the 2 3/8 inch side, will glue onto the arms of this pop-out mechanism, and in order for it to shut properly you do need the 1/2 inch corner rounder. Stampin' Up don't currently have a corner rounder. This one is a 1/2 inch, and on the other side it's a 1/4 inch. So you want to punch both sides at 1/2 inch on the long side, which is the 2 3/8 inch side, okay? And you do that for both. And if you don't have one, just simply cut the corners off. So the DSP for these fold-out panels will measure 2 1/4 by 2 1/8. For the metric one, the fold-outs will measure 6.3 by 5.5 centimeters, and this is the matte layer for it. And the designer series paper that goes on top of this is 0.03 centimeters, or 1/8 of an inch smaller than the panel. So this will measure 6 centimeters by 5.2 centimeters, and you need 2 pieces of that. This back panel here, the Misty Moonlight one, measures 3 inches by 2 1/4 inches. So the basic white panel will measure 2 7/8 by 2 1/8. For the metric one, this measures 6 centimeters across by 7.5 centimeters for the balmy blue layer, and the basic white measures 5.7 by 7.2. And for the matte layer on the front, which you're going to emboss, this measures 5 1/4 by 3 7/8 in petal pink, and you need to emboss it with the Cute Crochet 3D embossing folder. For the card base inside layers, it's cut at the same measurement, 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. The Country Lace 12 by 12 designer series paper, and you need 2 pieces of that. In metric, I cut 3 pieces and reversed one of the pieces from the Countryside in 12 by 12 designer series paper pack, and this measures 10 by 13.5 centimeters. Now we're going to tackle how to make this pop-out mechanism. This one is in Imperial. I'll cover that first. So you need a piece of cardstock, the same colour as your card base, cut at 1 3/8 inches by 7 1/2 inches. Okay, put that up on your scoreboard and score at 1/2 inch all the way down and 1 inch all the way down. Orient it so that the narrower section is at the top and the wider section is at the bottom, and you're going to do some partial scoring. So you score at 2 1/2 inches from the top edge down to the first score line, and then from the second score line at 2 1/2 inches down to the bottom. Rotate your cardstock 180 degrees, so now your wider section is at the top, and you score from the top down to the first score line at 2 1/2 inches, and then from the second score line down to the bottom at 2 1/2 inches. So then you'll have both sections cut at 2 1/2 inches. Now with the hashed pieces, you want to now cut those off. So you're taking out the 4 outer rectangles. Bring in your scoreboard. Now your wider score line is now at the top. Okay, now you want to measure 5/8 of an inch. So let's butt that up to the 6-inch score line, and then you count 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's here that you want to make a mark. So you just put your stylus there and you know, make a mark there. Then butt that side up, okay, and count 5/8 of an inch in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go up there and make a mark there. All right. Now you've got that mark there, you place this using this cut line as a guide. Find your point, swivel your cardstock, make sure the point is on that 6-inch score line, and score up. All right, 6-inch score line, swivel the card, make sure that point is on the 6-inch score line, and score. So do the same for this side, and then this is how you make your mechanism. Fold that in along the score lines. Same with this side. And then you want to burnish it really well, and the flap should be at the top. Okay, this bit should be at the top. Same principle with the metric one, except the measurements are different. So this measures 4 centimeters by 19 centimeters overall, and then you want to score at, on the short side, at 1 centimeters and 2.5 centimeters. Then turn it on the long side, and you want to measure from the score line 1.5 centimeters in from to the right of that score line, and 1.5 centimeters in to the left of that second score line. Okay, then you cut away the rectangles and make your score lines diagonally, just as you did for this one. So to glue your mechanism to the card, you want this flap face up, and you apply adhesive on the bottom. So now I've done it on the actual mechanism to put in the card. So you folded it in, and you want to put glue on the bottom half, which is this bit, and you've got this flap on the top. Okay, so you center it onto your card just shy of the score line, so that your card can still close, and then close the card on top and wait for it to bond and dry. So now you've attached your mechanism, you want to put your panels on. So glue on both these side panels onto this piece here, and the other one to the right arm, and that goes flush with the arm here. We want to attach glue to this portion here. Not to this flap, just this angled piece, and then allow it to bond, and that will pull these two bits out. Next you want to pop your middle panel in, so you put the glue on this end bit here, and glue on this panel here. Be careful not to get glue on the underside, because that's the bit where it has to tuck in. So glue that on the top, make sure it's closing. Oops. Close the card, make sure these flaps are tucked in. Fold that on here, make sure that you hold on to that, fold that down like so, close the card and allow it to bond. That's how that pops out now. Now you want to create the pop-up mechanism for the back of the card that goes here to hold this piece. So this measures 3 1/4 by 1 inch, and on the long side you score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch and 2 3/4 inches. You want the score line with the double panel at the top, and this one with a single panel at the bottom. So you put glue on the end pieces, center that on here, fold that down and close the card on top. and that will give you your pop-up. Okay, then you want to put glue on this panel here. Center that on here and shut the card. Just make a little adjustment to make sure it's straight. Shut the card and let it bond. So there you have your inside pop-up. So the rest is pretty straightforward. You just put your front on and create your pocket. So I won't go through that. This is the tricky bit. So I've just shown you how to do that. So I hope you've enjoyed today's Rest, Relax and Enjoy pop-up card. Thanks for watching. Bye.